Hello, and welcome to How to Create Calmness and Peace, a stress management approach. My name is DrStem. I'm a life coach, wellness, as well as mental health professional. I wanted to touch base on this because, let's face it, nobody wants to suffer. And that is why this long pandemic season has really been a challenge to all of us. It has brought adversity that has taken a toll on all our mental and emotional wellness, as well as peace of mind. Having a good peace of mind is just as important as keeping the body fit as well as the spirit young. However, with everything that is going on right now, the adversity and the pandemic still around us, even politics that is going on around the world, which we live in, it just seems difficult sometimes to achieve a peace of mind and tranquility, as well as calmness sometimes, or even what I call serenity. The good news is we have within ourselves the tools to deal with adversity, to deal with any stress, that might be affecting us, or even to calm our minds as well as gain a peaceful mindset. I'm going to go over some tips with you to help you manage stress as well as create a sense of calmness and peace in your life. So before I do that, let me do a quick disclaimer. Because I am a licensed mental health professional, I have to make sure that I give you this quick disclaimer that the tips that I'll be sharing in this segment are only for educational purposes only and not treatment or diagnosis. So if you do need help or you need, someone to further assess you, make an appointment with a licensed professional for a full diagnosis and treatment, or you can follow up with your current provider, medical provider or mental health provider for any follow-up treatment that you might require after listening to this, or during the time that you're listening to this. You might think, let me talk to somebody more about what I've been going through or what's been on my mind that is getting in the way of me having a peaceful mind. That's a reason why you might want to contact someone further than just listening to this audio. It's going to be a long one. I had to make sure that I stop the music because we're talking about calming mind. So as we do that, I wanted to make sure that we don't have any distractions. And I've done several, audios and videos, and some people want the music and some people don't want the music. If you have a little bit of ADHD like I do, sometimes just pure silence and just somebody talking might make my mind wander, and then I want some music or I want to just pause it. Feel free to just pause, walk around, come back, listen to it again, or listen to it, just segments, 10 minutes a day, and then come back because it's going to be a long one. I did put together a few tips that I wanted to talk to you that will be helpful to creating a sense of calmness and peace in your life. So let's talk about the how to achieve a peace of mind. Loving yourself brings a peace of mind like no other. I had to start with that because I don't think we are taught or we even talk about self-love or loving ourselves enough in our lives. I know when I was growing up, I didn't hear anything about loving yourself. It's almost like it was considered to be told that, it's okay to love yourself. It was like, no, humble yourself, don't love yourself too much and don't show or tell that you do love yourself because then that's not going to be perceived well. That's, the message that many people are taught. But we are understanding it now that the more we like ourselves, the greater our peace of mind. Loving yourself is accepting yourself and feeling more at ease with the world, with your life, with who you are and where you are in life right now. It's also being at peace with what needs to change, what needs to be improved, what you need to take, steps that you need to take based on what is comfortable for you. That's loving ourselves. So let go of that which you cannot control, when you are in that path of loving yourself to a peaceful mind. Give yourself time. Give yourself time to allow yourself to process. And I'm sure, here's what I know for sure, like Oprah Winfrey said, that many of you that will be listening to this are not young people that are, less than 15 years or 20 years, at this point. So that means you probably have lived life a little bit if you do get to listen to this here, because that's when we start, in our 20s, we start thinking about a peace of mind. In our younger years, it's like, yeah, life is going on. You're young and, life is good. But we start thinking about a peace of mind, I think, from 20 years on. And correct me if I'm wrong. I hope you make some comments below, this audio of what you think, right? But one way of achieving a peace of mind is giving yourself time, allowing yourself and putting boundaries on when it's time to move on, rather than getting stuck on a certain situation, a certain place, and doing certain things. But whilst it's okay to want to move on, I also want to remind you that it's necessary to allow yourself to take all the time that you need to overcome any of the adversity, any of the traumas that you've gone through, so that you can take the necessary steps to heal, as well as give yourself enough time to learn what you needed to learn and grow from those moments, so that you can, take the next step in your life. Healing emotional pain is a complex process. So if we are talking about trauma and experiences, we're talking about a complex, process of having to heal yourself and getting the courage to move on or to live on and, embrace the life that you have. So as a result, I want to encourage you to give yourself time, but also at the same time, remember that moving on and living your life is also in your hands. It's also a part of, what you will need to create. And many a time as mental health professionals or even coaches, that's where we, been able to help people, allow that time for healing. So find somebody that you can talk to, so that you can get the courage to deal with whatever it is that might be getting in the way of having a peaceful mind. Because remember, that's what we're talking about, finding a peaceful mind. So without healing, usually it's really difficult to cultivate a calmness and a peaceful mind. Keep in mind, though, that because yesterday was not a good day, it doesn't make today a bad day just because yesterday was a bad day. Today is a new day, because your life has not been really on the right path. You seeing that you're getting the things that you wanted to get. You probably didn't have a silver platter like some people that you might look at or anything. It just doesn't mean that your life has to end with the same history, looking the same way, feeling the same way that you felt. So it is up to you, right, to really commit yourself to say, what small step do I want to take just so I can have a peace of mind and calmness? So I'm not saying change anything. I'm saying find ways that you can embrace where you are, or make the changes that you need to make in order for you to, be content with where you are. Explore any pain, recognize any experiences that were not, that were painful. Maybe you can say that. And then, figure out ways to overcome those memories. Figure out how to retell that story that, you have of those memories. Another way of finding peace, you want to do something to lift up somebody every day. I find, so much peace, energy, and joy just, doing these audios, empowering, inspiring other people, making comments on Facebook, Instagram, on people that have their postings that I'm part of their groups. If I just, pick one a day and just do that, or share a dose of motivation and encouragement, it really, boosts my, mood, and also gives me a sense of peacefulness. So what good, act of kindness can you do? What do you enjoy doing, sharing? Maybe just making a phone call to somebody and saying, hey, I was just thinking about you. We even talked during the COVID, and I was just wondering how you're doing. Or if you're a good texter, you can just send a text message and see how they're doing. That really helps. And people, when they're not expecting a message and just get a message from someone that is just thinking about them, just brings a smile to someone. And as you do that, it also helps you become peaceful and calm. Get enough rest and sleep. It's easier to have a peace of mind when you're well rested. So you want to have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Make sure that before you put your head down, you have written down anything that needs to be done tomorrow. Write down anything that needed to be finished that you didn't finish today, and then write it up for tomorrow so you won't forget to finish it up or to start it off tomorrow. That way, when you put your head down, you're not having all these ideas and all these things that are in your mind, and you're just wondering, oh, I hope I don't forget tomorrow. I hope I can finish this tomorrow. Write it down. If you haven't started keeping a journal and you don't have a journal, I also want to encourage you to have a journal, because then when you do write it down, it's almost like you're telling your mind, be at peace and rest. Because today we've done the best that we can. Tomorrow is another day, and I'll pick up from where I left off for the day. And then I also want to encourage you to open your feelings and emotions that you're feeling. Talk to someone. Write your feelings down. I always go to journaling first to say, write your feelings and emotions down if you're going to become mentally strong. Because what happens is, for many people, when you open up and talk to somebody else, especially if you're talking to someone who is not a professional, who doesn't know what to do with those emotions, and they're also going through their emotions, and they don't know how to separate their own feelings, emotions, or their feedback, with what you're saying, sometimes it really doesn't help. So that's why I'm always saying to people, write it down. As you write down, there's something cathartic that just happens with writing it down. But if you have someone that you can talk to, let me tell you, I have friends, but I have my sisters. I have 5 sisters, and we talk. Because I am a therapist and I've been doing this for over 25 years, it's almost like they're now therapists as well, because we talk, and I like for us to talk and process things and laugh and correct each other and correct ourselves. So, we're constantly just improving on ourselves, but just like, oops, I can't believe I did that. And then we have moments where we're just crying and things are not working out in our lives. In addition to, having therapists that are also private therapists that we work with. I'm a therapist. I'm always encouraging other therapists to say, you work with a therapist too, because then we talk to a lot of people throughout the years, a week. So in order to process that and to be able to also separate it and, not carry it with us, we have to talk to someone professional as well and help each other out. So I want to encourage you to do that. And, write out your emotions and write out your feelings each day. I'm always saying to people, instead of how you doing, how am I feeling, whatever feeling comes up, write it down if you're going to have a peace of mind. Let it out, so that you don't have to carry it, all the time. Take time to enjoy natural surroundings in your area. Do you have a wooded area? Do you have water around you? Do you just have a garden in the backyard or a parking lot that you can walk into? But walk outside, have the cool air and breeze, blow your face on your face. I'm from Zimbabwe, so in Africa. So it was, I came here 36 years ago, and it was easy for me to get acclimated to being, outside in the nature. So I'm literally living in places where I have, wooded areas, and they have lakes that I can walk around, because I just like to hear the birds and, surrounding animals just making noise, and it just calms and relaxes my mind. If you're not able to do that, they have a lot of apps that literally you can choose to say, I want an ocean, I want, birds, and I want rain, that you can find a nice space that you can be, and just press on that and listen to the sounds, close your eyes, and imagine you being in those areas with the birds or the water raining, or being in the sunshine state, or, place. But you literally can do that through the apps. But do not forget that walking is good too, and I think I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. But find a way that you can enjoy nature, that you can see, and feel and hear water, sun, the grass. I love the smell of grass. I'm one of those people that loves to even do more my own lawn in my house, because then I love the smell of the grass. The idea is for you to take a quiet walk without interruptions and just enjoy it to the fullest. Another thing that I do is listen to classical music. I believe, and I know in my heart of hearts, that music is life. The power of sound within the mind is incredible. It's so good that it is just naturally calming and relaxing, that if you get used to listening to classical, or what they call ambient music, you can always find that, on Spotify, on YouTube, or wherever you listen to your music, and just, search for that. But it provides you with immense calmness that is just not of the mind, but the body as well, when you're ready to just relax. I love taking bubble baths and showers, and I'll put this music where I just let the water run, or I'm just sitting in that tub. But, it just brings an additional calmness if you're a person that loves to take, bubble baths or showers as well. Practice gratitude. I think we have heard and just hear many people saying, practice gratitude, be grateful for something. And sometimes we're like, oh, I've heard too much of that. Let me tell you, it works. It really works, because it helps to reduce the feelings of stress. And it reminds you that all is well, that things will work out somewhere, somehow. So every day what I do is I write 10 things that I'm grateful for. Some days I write 5, but the goal is just to write. So write whatever comes, whatever numbers that every day, write 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for. Or write down the good things that happened on that day, or good things that you expect to happen that day. Be creative about it. So sometimes I write the same things, that I'm grateful for life, I'm grateful for health, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my work and the clients and patients that I work with. So I just write those kind of things. But then many a time I have specific people, things that are happening in my life, things that are happening in the world that I'm truly grateful for. And imagine what happened when we started, when the pandemic started in 2019. I found myself just being appreciative of breathing, of having the capacity to breathe on my own without the ventilator, of just opening my eyes and being able to see, walk, talk, eat. After I saw people on ventilators and people not being able to breathe on their own, walk, see, and live, and some lost their lives, I was like, okay, I would never again fall short of anything to write, because there's so much to be grateful for. Even just moving my hand, having my fingers being flexible, that I can move my fingers and my legs, that's something to be grateful for. And I can go on and on and on. But practice gratitude. Let people know that you appreciate them. That's gratitude. To just say to somebody, I really appreciate you, and I really enjoy your company, or I enjoy talking to you, or just even the thought of you is, something that makes me grateful and smile. That is gratitude. So if you're one of those people that say, I don't like to write, maybe just make the phone calls and just talk. Or, if you have any groups that you are a part of, hey, write in those groups and just say, hey, I appreciate you, to anybody that you have befriended in there, or just, write a message to the group and say, today I'm just grateful of, being a part of this group, or being a part of, all of you. That's nice to do. So moving from gratitude, it's just, right for me to move into positive thinking, because that's a big one. What I did was, at the beginning of this year, 2022, I did a 28-day positive thinking challenge. Did you hear that? 28-day positive thinking challenge, where I shared videos, explaining that day's challenge. And I was posting them in different groups. I was posting them on my YouTube, which now you can find them on YouTube, but just to inspire, motivate, and encourage people to begin the year with a positive mindset. Guess what? It was more for me than it was for a lot of people that watched them and told me that it was really helpful for them to watch and do those challenges. But I did that for myself, because then we are coming out of 2021 and I wanted things to start changing in 2022. I was tired of just being in the house and working from the house and, hoping that the pandemic was now going to ease up. I live in Orlando, Florida, and we can have fun and go out and really enjoy the sunshine. And no, things are getting worse and people are getting COVID, and it's just not improving as much as I wanted to see in 2022. So I decided, what, let's go with a positive challenge, so that as I do that with the rest of the world of people that will be following me, then it can help boost our positive thinking. So if you search, you can see 28-day positive thinking challenge on YouTube. So here's the thing. Many people are wondering, what can I do to get a peace of mind, to just have a moment of calmness and relaxation? It's small things like that, where you do something challenging that will help to drive, your mind. So it's almost like, let me probably say it this way, right? Our mindset, when we wake up each day, we either can go right, which is the positive way of thinking, or we can go left to the negative way of thinking, right? So we are driving. So it's almost like you're driving your life, which is driving a car. Imagine yourself now, with the car pushing you to the left. You're sliding and it's going left, where the mind is negative and you're talking to that self-talk is negative. But then that, no, that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be, in that state of mind right now. You're going to have to gently turn the steering wheel so that you don't slide and get into an accident, but slowly change it and move it towards the right, so that you're going to the right direction. That is a positive way of thinking and positive momentum in your life. Many of us think, well, if I'm already in a funk and I'm in a negative mood, things are not working out in my life, there's nothing I can do. It is what it is. Well, there's something you can do. You literally can, change the momentum and the things that are happening, in your life, and create an inner peace that you don't have to give the power to the situation or to other people. You can take that power and control of being able to, turn towards positive thinking. You've heard of the saying, change your thought, change your life. I believe that if you change the way that you think, you can literally boost your sense of peace and calmness. If you change your thoughts, you can boost your sense of peace and calmness. The next one is a good one. It's one of my favorite, actually, practicing meditation. guided meditation, which we have seen being on the rise right now during this pandemic, it stimulates, our mind. It stimulates creativity. It opens up the doors, to solve problems. It also allows us to calm our sense. What do I say? Sense. To calm our minds and get a sense of calmness. That's what I want to say. I love meditation, and I've noticed that I'm being asked to do a lot of trainings on meditation and teaching people, stress management using meditation a lot since 2020. Actually, it's been on the rise, which I'm very excited about, because then we needed to share with more people to say, meditation is really very relaxing, and it's a tool that anyone can learn, because it prevents stress, and it also prevents people from becoming helpless and hopeless and not having any other way of finding peace and calmness. So if you want to try meditation, and I'm always saying to people, there's meditation one-on-one, and you can get thousands of videos on YouTube as well, where you'll be able to learn guided meditation. So with guided meditation, you have different people that will be guiding you to meditation. Choose a voice that works for you. There are different voices of meditation. Choose the one that resonates with you, that gives you a sense of calmness. And let me tell you, it's easy to know, because you will just listen to that person, and all of a sudden you want to hear more of their guiding, and through their voice. You just want that voice. So choose a voice that works for you, and begin simple ways to meditate. Even though many people fight me on the next one, which is letting go. When we talk about letting go, people are like, well, you don't understand my life. You have no idea what I have been through, and you're telling me to let go. Well, letting go opens the door for you to have, clarity in your life. Letting go also gives you that sense of peacefulness and calmness, which allows your strength to come out. And that strength to just be yourself on a day-to-day basis. Strength to do the things that bring the best you out, and share with the world, and share with yourself, and share with family. But it's difficult to do that when you're holding on. When you're holding on to a lot of things, right? So for the sake of having a peaceful mind and a good mental health, letting things go will allow you to have that peace of mind, but to have full control of your emotions. That's the big deal. You begin to have that full sense of control, that you are able to manage how you feel, to change how you're feeling for the better. So it's something that I think, when people fight me for this, that I say, what, it's interesting, because then I see you fighting yourself from gaining the power to be in full control of your life and your emotions. Life is not fair, and I'll be one to say to all of you, after working with many people in life that have gone through the most challenging and difficult situations in life, that life is not fair. Sometimes bad things happen to us, even though we've done nothing wrong. Life just serves us, that bad side, and it just doesn't work out all the time. So we could spend our whole lives getting revenge, or regretting, or complaining about it, or being bitter about it. And, and that'll be it. That'll be the end of life. And that's it until the end. Or we could look at, where I am today. I can make a difference in my life, and look at my life in a different way, and also allow myself to let go, so that I can have a chance to at least change the trajectory of the rest of my life than letting it be where it is now. I can change the things and, situations, even myself personally and professionally. I can grow and choose to have personal growth and professional growth so that I'm not the same person as yesterday. I'm not the same person that went through what I went through or that experienced what I experienced. Finding peace is not about being passive. It's not about ignoring what happened to us. It's about having the self-control to not let what happened to us take over our lives, our thoughts, and our actions. It's not allowing what happened to us to rob us of a life that we could have, of the joy and happiness and peace that we could have, the love that we could have in our lives. It's not allowing the past to rob us of that opportunity to start again, to love again, to be loved again, to start over whatever it is that you need to start. It's never too late. I don't care how old, how young, how hurt, how, maybe you were injured in car accidents or you were born with some disabilities. It doesn't matter, because you and I have seen people that have really made it against all odds. And my thing is, if they could do it against all odds, there's nothing that'll get in the way of me doing it against all odds. So no matter how bad it is, what I've noticed is somebody else has got it worse, but they have picked themselves up and they have made the most of their lives with where they are, who they are, and, what body they're in. I'm sure at that moment you could tell I'm a motivational speaker, right? Because I get into this mode when I'm trying to put across a point, and I'm like, oh, I could tell you stories about that. So anyway, I am a motivational speaker as well. But if you want a peaceful mind, you have to live in the present moment. Because what happens is when we have negative thoughts in our mind, we get stuck on those negative thoughts, especially if they're negative thoughts that pertain to the past. Then guess what? It's almost like we're driving forward, but we're looking backward and expecting ourselves not to crash, but to continue to have clear path and know where we're going when we're looking behind. I don't think it ever worked for anybody, because you always crash. That's an easy way to just crash and pretty much, hurt other people in the midst of that crashing, because then, if you were driving and you're driving without even looking where you're going, of course you're going to run into people are going to run into you, and, because you can't see where you're going. So it's always important that we live in the present moment and allow ourselves to look forward, to drive looking forward, because we can be able to control and see where we're going, but we'll be able to see if it's, we're driving in the fog, we're driving in the snow. We have to slow it down, and life will slow us down. Are we driving in a slippery road? We have to slow down, because, there will be slippery moments in life where no matter how slow or careful we are, the only thing that saves us is that we paid attention. Our mind was more peaceful and we didn't panic. But then many times we are going through life in the sense that, we want to control everything, and we want to move forward quickly, and we want to get through this, and we want things to work out this way. And yet life will work out the way that it's supposed to be sometimes. And our role is to acknowledge that we did our best and our best was good enough. We all have seen like an increase in mental health, commercials that they are normalizing mental health and encouraging people to seek mental health counseling. But I think what we're not seeing a lot of is a lot of coverage of people that are peaceful, that are calm, that really have gained a lot in their lives because they have worked towards maintaining a calm, peaceful sense, of mind that has allowed them to excel, that has allowed them to heal, that has allowed them to be clear on the next best step that they needed to take in their life. So I hope that with these tips that we're sharing today, you'll be one of those people that says, you know what? Let me take a cup of tea and see which one of these tips that I can implement today. And if you want any of these tips in written form, on a PDF, what I'll do is I will also, send you that. Just inbox me wherever you send this, and I'll send you that script, so that, because some people are visual. Many of us now, I like to drive and listen to audiobooks and everything, so I've had to do these as well as create PDFs. So just let me know and I'll be able to send that to you. In my house, in my car, when I had an office, guess what was hanging on my wall? A wall hanging of the Serenity Prayer. I have it laminated. I have a card in my wallet. I have a card in my pocketbook. I move with the Serenity Prayer everywhere. And if you've never heard of the Serenity Prayer, it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking, as he did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and happy with him forever and ever in the next. That's the full version of the Serenity Prayer. Why do I keep the Serenity Prayer? It helps me to accept the things that I cannot change. And that's big. Accepting the things that you cannot change. So here's what happens. There are things that we can and cannot change, but mostly I think it's important for us to understand that we cannot change other people. And this happens a lot, especially if you're in a job or you're in a relationship, that we tend to get to a space where this person is not doing things the way that we know that they're supposed to be. They're not doing things like I do. Well, that's the uniqueness of relationships in this world, right? Everyone is there are billions of people around the world. So we cannot control, their lives, because each one of them has their own agenda. They have their own wants. They have their own needs. Even now when I'm doing work, that I do, for coaching or counseling, I can't. Everybody that comes to me is unique. And my role is to strengthen that which they are strong at, that which they know that is good for them, to process and see, to bring out those strengths, that they can be the best unique individual that they're supposed to be, that they can live as good a life as they allow themselves to live, by bringing out the best version of themselves, or just embracing life as it is, knowing the things that they can and knowing the things that they cannot change. So in accepting what we can't change, you have to take ownership of what you can change, which is your behavior, your attitude, and how you respond or react. I talk a lot about the ability to manage how we react or respond to everyday situations in our lives. Because I believe that no matter what happens or who says what to us, we always have the responsibility of how we respond or react. So let me tell you, if in any situation you are feeling peaceful, calm, it means you have responded. On the flip side, if you're feeling angry, just, you're so mad, you're so irate, it means you are reacting. You are giving the power to the situation or to the other person rather than taking the power back, so that you are in full control of how you deal with what's, ahead of you or right there happening to you. Take full responsibility and respond, which means take a step back and figure out the best way that you can receive what's going on as well as respond to what's going on. Peacefulness, calmness, response. Anger, argumentative, anxiety, stress about it, that's reaction. So accept the things that you can and cannot change. Another way of culminating peace and a sense of calmness is reading. So now, because we have more audiobooks as well as, the regular books, you can choose to see which one. But reading is one of the best gifts, that I have seen that brings a sense of peacefulness to anybody who takes up reading. So research recommends that reading at least 20 minutes a day is, what they recommend for us to just take at least 20 minutes a day to read. This is because it's not only an interesting hobby that you can take, right? It also helps to relax you and helps again to, cultivate a peaceful and calm mind. So there are many benefits that you can get from reading. And then you learn new information. And there's nothing as powerful as somebody who has new information, who's well informed, who's hungry to learn more about, different things in life in general, in the world, what's happening in the world, and, just seeing the world from different lenses. It's really a good thing, but, very relaxing as well if you take it, up in that way. So remember, you only need to spend 20 minutes a day reading. So that's just a little bit of reading, a day. And if you're also into the ebooks, that's helpful because now you don't have to hold, the book. You can read it from your iPad, you can read it from your phone or even the computer. So the ebooks are really, big as well. I have written over 40 books, I think, self-help books and just empowerment books. So check out my website if you haven't checked out my website. And if you are a lady, check out the Women Self-Care Success Store on Etsy, because I know women will always, playing around on Etsy. Not that men don't. I know you all do as well. But I'm just, saying that one there was created just for the ladies, and it's got books that are just for the ladies. But trust me, men have also come back and say, oh, I know Women Self-Care Success Store, and I got this book, and that helped me. I was thinking my wife was going to read it, but then when I read it, I was like, well, you know what? It's helping me too. So you never know. But read. 20 minutes a day is all that the doctor is asking for. All right. So, let me think. You also want to find ways to spend time alone. Gotta be careful about this one. Because now with the pandemic, people are working at home and, mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, everybody's at home. So it makes it, really strain us to have everyone around each other 24/7 for 3 years. So more and more we are finding people that are so overwhelmed because they are glued to their computer doing work. And then if you are a mother, or even a single father, or fathers in there, you're hearing daddy, mommy, or honey, and I'm laughing because I have couples. I work a lot with couples, and I have couples that say, I don't want to hear that word honey. It gives me the cringes because I'm busy and I just need to finish work, or I just want some alone time, and I hear honey or honey love. It's like I don't have time. So if you're a couple or you're in a relationship and you're listening to this here, understand that it is much needed, and it is okay for your spouse or loved one to want some quiet time. Be able to provide and hear what they are saying, rather than, you're always working and I don't see you and you don't talk to me, and take it from that angle. Just at least honor the alone time, so that when they replenish their energy, you guys can make more time to be able to talk, but hearing each other without getting angry and mad at each other. I don't know about you, but I've noticed that those that force that time end up fighting, not physical fighting, but just yelling and screaming at each other, or saying things to each other that probably they would wish that they had not said that, only because they didn't give each other that alone time and honored that alone time to relax, and then figure out time to talk when everybody is relaxed. So if you're in a relationship, just wanted to throw that out there. But for all of us, right, it's good to spend time alone. Life never follows the path that you have outlined in your plans, so it's important for you to continuously replenish your energy, so that when life takes you somewhere where you really didn't want to be, you have enough strength and courage and energy to remain calm, peaceful, and maneuver your way through that phase of life. The truth is, what you need as well is you need to fulfill your own life before others can come in and be compatible with you, or be in partnership with you. You have to fulfill your own life and replenish your own life, and you have to deal with whatever difficult moments that need to be dealt with in a space where you can be alone. On the flip side, it's not fair to want this alone times 24/7, 7 days a week, when you have a spouse or a partner in the home who wants to talk to you, who needs to talk to you, who also wants your emotional support and availability. So it's almost like a catch-22 from what I just said, but it's needed, and we need to be cognizant of that, right? People love to be in love and want to get married, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I can't take this emotionally because that's too much. Well, it's part of the agreement. I don't know if it's a deal, but it's part of the agreement that you are going to be there and be available in a loving way, but not in an obligation way where I'm obligated to listen and to be here, so I'm just gonna be here. Well, it defeats the purpose, because then it's not, you're not good to talk to. It's a forced thing, and it's like, oh, really? So it's important that mindset wise, again, you work on your mind and really avail yourself and say, you know what, can I get an hour, and then let me just relax and just take a nap for 30 minutes, and then when I wake up, now we can talk. Or can we just leave it on the weekend, please, so that during the week I finish work at 6, and then I just need to relax, watch a little bit of comedy, and then I sleep. Work through that. Work with a loved one through that. Because the more that you look out for each other and work, right, it also builds up on the closeness. and support that you expect from each other. Talking to a mental health professional also helps to bring a peace of mind. I'm so glad that with the pandemic, we now have more people open to talking to a mental health professional or seeking counseling or coaching to deal with stress, to deal with life. If you have an experience with therapists or counselors that, even coaches that didn't work for you and it was just a waste of time, please don't let that discourage you, because then there are so many therapists, counselors, doctors, and helping professionals that literally will be there to help you, right? So find the right one for you. Find the right one that connects with you. If you have insurance, at the back of your insurance card is an 800 number, customer service number. Call that 800 number and ask them for a list of licensed therapists that they pay, that they're contracted with, that are in your area. Many times they'll ask you for your zip code, and they might say, what is going on? Let me, what is going on with you? Just briefly, I'm going through stress. I'm going through a divorce. I'm just changing jobs. I don't know. I'm just sad, and I'm not quite sure whether I have depression or anxiety, but just wanted to run through with a licensed person to see what's going on. Bingo. They'll give you the names, you call the names, and then make an appointment. Go to see that person. You have that one session where you're also feeling to see whether this is the right person that you want to continue with. If it's not, then you're very open and welcome to call somebody else, make an appointment until you get that person that connects with you, that is serving you and not making things worse for you. So many a time, many people have gotten stuck with one, counselor or therapist or coach that didn't work out, and then they just shut it down and say, you know what, that therapy doesn't work. But then, you're, doing a disservice to yourself, because then it does help, but you just have to find the one that works with you. If you're working or you have a company, own a company that has an employee assistance program, EAP, please use that first, because that's a big benefit that many people have and they've never used their employee assistance benefits. Every job, maybe let me just say most jobs have an EAP program, because it's a program that they paid for mental health services for their professionals, because they know the level of stress that people have at home and at work. So it's a free service to you. The company does not monitor these services. They have contracted with EAP companies outside, and those EAP companies are the ones that contract with independent providers like myself. So your job will never know that you called. They'll never know what you're talking about, but all they want is to have happy people that are contributing people to be on the job. So take advantage of that, because you get from 3 to about 20-30 sessions free. You don't pay a dime. The company has already paid it. So why not? Many people have said to me, well, I don't have anything to talk to a therapist about, And I said, well, here's the thing. If you're a driver and you own a car, I have never seen anybody that will say, you know what, DrStem, I'm 30 years old. I've been driving my car for the last 10 years. Never took it for engine check or oil change or nothing. It's just been driving really fine for the past 10 years. I never heard that. Because at some point, engine light will come on, oil will come on, tire will be flat. Something will happen to just drive you to take it for maintenance, right? Our minds and our bodies are the same way. We have to maintain them. We have to take them in for maintenance. So if you don't have a reason to call, you can just call the EAP, you can call the insurance, you can call any therapist. What's going on with you is, that you want therapy at this time, coaching at this time. To be honest, I just want to do a, mental health check, just a maintenance check with my mental health. See where I'm going, see where I am, see, if I have, anything that might come up in my mind that I haven't thought about that could be getting in the way of me being peaceful and calm and just enjoying my life. That's all. Wow, we welcome you. because then at that point you start to explore things that will just strengthen your life and also enhance your life, and just come up with ideas of coping skills, of things that you can do. So do that. It's a way to maintain your mental health. A lot of us now, especially in the United States, we do go for physicals every year. And what I've continuously been advocating is, people, let's also do mental health physicals every year, where we just do a maintenance check on our mental wellness, because that's big, and that is one sure way of bringing in peace and a calmness in your life like no other. Let me tell you. Exercise, exercise, exercise. When people hear this one here, they're like, oh, you're talking about exercising. My mother, she's what, 78. She's 78 years old now, right? If my mother, a 78-year-old, can operate YouTube and literally get to the channels on YouTube where she has yoga and she does meditation and she walks, those 15-minute, 30-minute walks, videos that they have, and she would do that right in the house, in the living room, move the tables and everything every day. She does that, and she's 78 years old. I don't see any reason why anyone else who's her age, older or younger, cannot do the same thing. The benefits of exercise, as you know, right? Not only do they, does exercise create a peace of mind, but it just helps to fend away any stressors or any stress, any things that are high demanding of your life. It just helps you to sort those things out when you have exercise, sweat, and then it's like, okay, what do I need to do right now? And you begin to write a list of the things that you do right now. What can I postpone until tomorrow? Oh, I can postpone this until tomorrow, because it's not a matter of life and death that it needs to be done today. See how you begin now to have a sense of calmness, but then a sense of direction and organization, right? Those lists, I know we talk until we're blue to say, make a list of the things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis, and then go through that list and say, which of these things are a must? They must be done today. They must be finished today and done right today, right? And then if it's not that emergency, if they're not must, it's okay to let them go and write them for the next day, or even put in an appropriate day where you make it a must on that day, right? So test yourself. Find ways to exercise, find ways to walk, and do what you need to do so that you can have some form of exercise on a daily, today basis. Self-care. Now that we're talking about that as well, you've heard the word self-care. Love and practice self-care every day. Self-care, self-love, feeling worthy, self-worthiness, those are also sure ways of just being calm, relaxed, and not pushing yourself or stressing yourself. Because then self-care is one of those things that you do when you want to make sure that you only can do what you can do, and know when to stop and know when to start, but not pushing yourself to the point where you are sick, or you are getting anxious or depressed, and then that changes your mood. Now you're having all these mood swings, you're irritable, you can't stand anyone, only because you're exhausted. Your mind is exhausted. So love and practice self-care. I spoke a little bit earlier on where I said I love taking showers and bubble baths. That's part of my self-care. What do you enjoy doing? When was the last time that you did that particular thing or things that you love? You can also help yourself to create a peaceful mind by preparing for rainy days. COVID caught us off guard, like off guard, all of us, everyone. And also, it was a reminder that in life, curveballs will always happen, such as losing jobs, death, accidents, losing loved ones, probably even funds, finances, where we don't have enough finances and we have a loss in that. So you can prepare for a rainy day, in so many ways. For example, if you save up for emergency fund or build out your income streams so that you have multiple streams of income, you're prepared for unexpected, problems that might come for financials, right? Also, if you're open to financial windfalls coming in from all angles in your life, hey, you never know. I know whenever I say this one, many people are like, "Ooh, I can take a financial windfall right now." Hey, so can we all. But be open to it. Expect it to come, and it will come. Because then, many a time we're not open to that which we are praying for or asking for. We pray for it, we ask for it, and then we're closed up to it. We're not open to receiving it. So that's another story on another day, because we're talking there about the law of attraction, and I'll talk about that in another time. But you can have a greater peace of mind by having open conversations with financial planners or people that can plan for your health, planning for your health ahead of time, and estate planning, ahead of time. So planning, preparing for those rainy days, preparing for those days when you are not able to provide for yourself, or you find yourself needing additional or extra help, that helps. We also never think about this one, because then many of us, and I completely understand. That's why I keep saying many of us, because trust me, everything I'm sharing with you, I've had to learn to, pay attention to everything and learn how to change them. Comparing ourselves is something that we do subconsciously or consciously. And we do that very often. But then what I realize in many people, it takes them a long time to realize that comparing yourself to other people takes away your calmness and peacefulness, because then it seems to bring in a competition that is not healthy when you're comparing yourself. On the flip side, you can also compare yourself and have what we call a healthy competition, where you now have the strength and courage to bring out the best, version of you. And that's different kind of comparison. But you want to avoid comparing yourself to others if it's not helping to fuel you to do better for yourself at your own pace, in your own time. If it's fueling you to be overwhelmed and stressed out more and just doubt yourself now, and then get in your own way, self-sabotage yourself, then no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Because you will have a greater peace of mind if you focus more on comparing yourself to who you are today and who you were yesterday. I'm way ahead of where I was yesterday. I know way more now after taking so many courses and being coached by different coaches to just help me with each little part or piece of myself that I needed to work on in order to bring this oneness in me, right? So the feeling of insecurity literally vanishes when you stop comparing yourself and you're just comparing yourself with yourself. It's almost like, well, you know what? Nobody's better. But then I can also go easy on myself, which I encourage you to do, to go easy and not really be so harsh on yourself. But to say, you know what, where you did try, you tried. Where you made a boo-boo and miss, it was, I failed. And I didn't do my best and I didn't give my best. I acknowledge it, but I can do more and I can do better. So look towards tomorrow, where you can do more and do better, rather than getting stuck or staying in that space that you are, where you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, and then it's not healthy, right? Changing the way you look at things or look at people will be a game changer when it comes to having a peaceful mind. Because sometimes looking at things in a different way helps you understand yourself even better. It helps you to become less judgmental, less stressed, more peaceful, but you also open yourself up to more experiences, when you do that. It also, brings a peacefulness that opens up a sense of clarity like no other. Because every good and bad things, right, will come to us when we have a peaceful and open mind. And when I say bad, it means that I am able to recognize that this is bad for me, or it's a bad situation, but now I can take step A, B, and C so that I don't expose myself to that same situation or to those same people again. So it's good to have that kind of way of looking at life and looking at situations, to have a different perspective. And again, go back to what we said earlier on, have the capacity to react or respond to each situation. And the key thing is, response is the best way. But is it always the one way that we do? No. There are things that people do sometimes, they just make you mad. And then all of a sudden, it's like, you know what? A reaction comes. That's okay. It's okay. Embrace that. You were mad. You were angry. So you lost it. But after you lose it, there's a responsibility to bring yourself back down. And you can do that again by being gentle with yourself, not being too harsh on yourself, and allowing yourself to take a step back and start all over again. It's okay. Like they say, ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. Don't worry. I know I see that, we're getting to over an hour. Don't worry. We're going to be finishing, but I wanted to make sure that at least I share all the nuggets that just, jumpstart you to saying, okay, if I'm to have a peace of mind, it's actually up to me. And I have tools that I can, utilize. I also can, work on my thinking, my values, what I know for sure. What are those must-haves that I have? And what are those things that, I have control over? Because that was big on what we talked about, right? Play with a pet. Get yourself a pet. If you are an animal person and you have your pet, don't forget to give it attention, because some people have cats, dogs, and other animals in the house, and all they do is just feed them, and then they go on and become busy and doing what they need. Pets need love too, and especially if you have one, when you give love and time and commitment to just playing with your pet, it actually refuels you, but it brings you a sense of calmness. Touch is a powerful sense, and it also eases tension. So promote a peace of mind within yourself and also your animals by having moments where you're touching and hugging them and just caressing them, so that that sense of touch helps you and it helps them. This one here is a great one. Live, love, and laugh. Have a great sense of humor, but mostly laugh a lot. Let me say this one again. Laugh a lot. Bring out that funny bone of yours. Laugh and just, make other people laugh, but find things that make you laugh as well. I love comedy. And I love movies that also have comedy in them. So I'm always seeking those and just finding myself just laughing, right? Laughter is a great remedy for stress, and it releases hormones that help to reduce, stress, and helps us to calm down. And when we're calm, it's easy. to maintain a peace of mind or a peace of calmness. So go ahead, laugh. And I mean laugh a lot. Okay? And as you're laughing, open yourself up to love unconditionally. I said it. Open yourself up to love with no reservations, without holding back. When you don't expect anything back, it makes it easier to love without fear. When we love with conditions attached, sometimes those expectations that we had, when they're not met, it just creates this harshness within us and a turmoil within us, right? So many people, I think, have struggled with finding ways to love each other and love unconditionally because of the pandemic. So do not let the pandemic win by taking away your peacefulness, joy, love, and connectedness in your relationship. It just means it's a little bit more work now that needs to be done. And again, I cannot recommend enough to just find somebody neutral, who's a professional that can just help bridge the gap, that can just help connect, again, help with that communication. Again, if you're in a relationship, or if you're seeking one, it's important for you to be ready and open to unconditional love, to loving without reservations and loving without fear. Be kind to yourself. Make love a central piece of your life, because it does make the world go round, right? Everybody's entitled and deserves to be loved and to love. So be open to it and allow yourself to go out there and find love. Have a peace of mind that you will benefit from when you create goals for life, when you create your wants, dreams, and desires. Life is like, again, a journey. So we're driving this, thing called life, right? I feel like when we have goals and we've set up our goals and our wants, the things that we want to create, the dreams that we want to achieve, right? It's almost like we have an address that we can program in this journey called life and be able to drive it. Otherwise, we're driving without direction, so we get lost. Life is like, you don't have anything to look forward to, and you don't have anything to be expectant of, right? So create some goals, create some direction. What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to share with the world? I love the fact that this internet thing and online, thing has opened up the world for the world, to be able to explore. Because anybody and everybody, young, old, and, unborn, can use the online. Because, we have unique gifts. So it's an opportunity that you literally can just sit and talk and teach and then get paid. What a world. Whoever thought that we could get to such a time? So do not miss out and be afraid. There is help, coaching, there's, information. Seek it and improve on yourself and figure out, how to do this here. Because then it always says when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, right? So the help is there. But you just have to make up your mind to say, you know what, I'm ready. I want to explore something new. I want to make new goals. So that's a lot. I've shared a lot of tips. But in conclusion, I just want to remind you that every day is a new beginning and a new opportunity to improve things, to keep growing, to maintain a calm and peaceful mind. Do not focus on the past or what it could be, but work to improve your future, your desires, and your dreams. You owe it to yourself to make your dreams come true. You owe it to yourself to have a peace of mind that allows you to love, live, and laugh every day. Remember that all things are possible when you believe, and act upon that which you desire. Keep your mind at peace and remember that the world does not end with problems. Every day you have the opportunity to recalculate how you think, feel, respond, or react to life. I hope you choose peace and calmness at all times. Once again, my name is DrStem. And as I always say, be encouraged.